Okay, welcome to Travel Tuesday, and today I'm standing in front of a train that's been running on Merseyrail since 1978. It's just about to leave and I want to be on it because that's what I'm travelling by. It's being preserved. This is the one that's been bought for £1, and we'll tell you more about that as the months go on. But for now, come on, let's get on the train. This is 507001, back in its original livery. In recent years, Merseyrail trains have been looking like this as they advertise the routes and the places you can go, rather than the original train. This is Merseyrail's own footage of 001 as it comes out of the depot with the new, or rather old, heritage livery on it. As I said, the train was bought for £1 by the Class 507 Preservation Society. They raised nearly £15,000 to transport it down to its new home, and I'll tell you more about that as the months go on. We started off by showing you me boarding the 001 train on one of its last public journeys from Southport, and these still photos were taken by my friend Alan, who was with me.
Wherever you're from, whoever you are, we're welcoming travellers from near and from far.
The late Queen Elizabeth II opened the Merseyrail network on October the 25th, 1978. She unveiled the plaque at Moorfield Station and then travelled on 001 out to Kirby. Its new home will be down at the Tannant Valley Railway in Shropshire, but it's got a couple more things to do before then. There'll be a full-day tour of the Wirral line and also a full-day tour of the Northern line, but both of those are already fully booked. Moving on, and we took one of the new trains that more or less dominate the lines now, and the Class 777 took us over to Liverpool Central, which has a side entrance into Bold Street that you see here, and Bold Street opens us up onto Concert Square, a great place for nightlife. I thought we could also probably catch a sing-along if we wandered round for a bit. And so we came full circle back round to Bold Street again, where we had a cup of coffee, a piece of cake of course, and then back down to the Merseyrail station at Liverpool Central and home. So I've been driving along the A51 from Chester to Nantwich for years, and in the past 10 years or so I've been coming on this route on the bus. You pass by these hay-made statues that are about, 50 foot tall, something like that. It's hard to say with their perspective and all that, but they're big. just put it like that. They're in the middle of a field at Snugbury's ice cream farm, and I've just driven by. Me drive past ice cream? That's just not credible. So I decided to call in here today, and obviously the bus doesn't stop here, so I've had to drive. Lots of people come to have their photograph taken in front of Paddington. Paddington's only the latest of the sculptures that they've had here. A few years ago, I remember seeing a Dalek in the field, which was quite interesting for me as a Doctor Who fan. Anyway, we'll go and have an ice cream now, if that's all right with you. We're back on home ground at Arrow Park now, and inside Arrow Park there's this building. It's called Arrow Hall, and we've never been to this before, but it's been hiding away there in the trees. It's run by the National Autistic Society, and occasionally they do have an open day to raise some funds. This was one such day, and most of it was outdoors, but you did actually get to look inside the front part of the hall. Obviously the rest of it is all private. I hope they raise plenty of money for their organisation, and we hope that there'll be many more of these. Back in Wallasey, and the house that I bought in 1989, and you may recall last month as I was moving in that there's a pathway up to the front of the house from the pavement. Well, I needed more than that for my mobile disco operation, so I knocked down part of the front wall and I paved the front area so you could drive a vehicle onto it. To be more precise, back a vehicle onto it and then have access to the side path down to the back garden. You may be able to see a gate at the end of the path. These pictures were actually taken a lot later than 1990 because most of my unloading was done at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and I didn't video in the dark. And you can see from the back garden, from the shed with no windows, didn't want anyone looking in at my equipment, there's a back gate there which leads down the side of the house and to the vehicle that's parked up front. The van had to be parked quite well forward across part of the pavement because of the tailgate at the back. Staying in the Wallasey Borough and down at New Brighton on the front, you'll notice people hanging around on the beach as though they're waiting for something. Well, in fact they are. This was September the 6th when the Queen Mary II Cunard liner was coming into Liverpool, and you'll notice that the photographers are all queuing to get a picture of the ship as she sails in. Queen Mary II couldn't actually get into the Mersey until the tide was fully in, and the people with cameras had to keep moving backwards with their tripods as the area they were initially standing in was eventually underwater. Eventually we catch sight of the ship just out by the Mersey bar, and it comes in past the lighthouse at New Brighton and along the River Mersey into the cruise liner terminal at the pier head. Now, some of the best views of the boat might have been from Birkenhead, but as we hang out in the Wallasey area mainly, this is where we took our pictures. To save having to fight my way through the other photographers, I stood well back and flew my drone over the area, and these are the pictures I got from my DJI Mini 3 Pro. Considering this was on a Friday, the area was quite busy as the kids had gone back to school and people were back at work, and yet the place was quite crowded.
In Great Britain, the bottom 10% of households have an average of less than £100 in savings, compared to the top 10% who have an average of £215,700. So, about these very rich people then.
They wouldn't want you to see how they bathe in a bathtub made of gold, filled with gold. Even the sink plug is gold. Or how they make paper planes with money, wipe themselves with money. Your money. Your money. Your money.
Speaking as someone who's in the bottom 10%, I don't want to put my money into a bank. My £100 goes into buying small amounts of shares using the free apps that are available on your smartphone. Over the last 12 months, I've tried Free Trade, which was okay, and Lightyear, also okay, but I found the best one for me was this one, Trading 212. They give you a debit card, and while the money is there and not invested in anything else, they pay you interest at one of the best rates that I've managed to find. Fintech. But of course I spend more time with video technology, and I'm going to whiz through the devices that I currently have in service. You already know about the drone that I use to film Queen Mary II. The DJI Action 2 I bought 2 years ago to take to Australia, and that was under £200. And the new kid on the block is the DJI Neo drone. It was released on September the 5th, and it's quite remarkable. To avoid a lot of the regulation, a drone has to be under 250 grams, and the Mini 3 Pro that I already use is 249 grams, very well engineered. But this new drone is very lightweight, probably lighter weight than most smartphones. It's a pocket drone, and it really does fit in your pocket. I'll prove that later. And it retails at £169, which I see as a bargain. Watching DJI's own advert for the product, it seems you have to be very athletic and acrobatic to take full advantage of the drone. Well, I hope that isn't the case, because I can't see myself doing any of this stuff. But I'm still convinced that it can be a very useful tool for me, and I'm sure you'll discover why as the next few months go on. So when I leave the house on a nice day and I don't even need a coat, here's what I need to have in my pockets. There's my wallet. It's got my bus pass in it. There's my phone. Obvious reasons for needing that. And there's a drone. This is a picture of a popular action camera. It's the GoPro Hero, and DJI also have some action cameras. There's the Action 4, which is the most recent, unless by the time you're watching this there's an Action 5, and it looks quite like a traditional camera in shape. Before that was the Action 3, which was also a bit like a standard camera or a GoPro. And then the Action 2 before that, the one I bought in 2022, quite different. It's a modular system, and the modules clip together magnetically, so the basic camera clips to an expansion module magnetically, and a mini tripod is available which also clamps to the bottom of the expansion unit magnetically. And the expansion unit gives you wireless remote control as well as extra power and connectivity, and it allows you to remote control the camera if you've stuck it on a tripod some way away. The remote control shouldn't get lost because that can be magnetically attached to the tripod for storage. And that's all the bits I've got for you for now, so I'm going to leave you with some pictures that the drone took pointing in the opposite direction from the River Mersey and the sea, back across New Brighton and Marine Lake. I also flew the drone across Fort Perch before landing on the beach beside it.